Why hello there! Welcome to the Stuboy Movie Review Show. Today's movie we're reviewing is Iron Man 2, which I'm just going to call it Iron Balls 2 from here on out. Before getting into the review, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the previews you might be seeing at your local theater that run before this movie. The first movie that's coming out the 21st of May 2010, which is probably already passed by the time you saw this video, Shrek 4, fourth and final chapter of Shrek. In my opinion, the first two movies were the best of the series, and this one seems to be stretching it quite a bit. That's not to say I don't like to see Shrek and Donkey go on a werewolf adventure. The next preview you will likely see is an upcoming Spielberg project about staying in a hotel that has something to do with Area 51. It's known as Super 8. This to me looks a lot like Close Encounters, but given the title it could also have something to do with the film format or the tape format or the hotel, I don't know. Following that, you'll get as confused as I am with M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's new movie known as The Last Biscuit. It's about a kid who can create weather all over the world just by farting. We're going to skip the Robin Hood trailer because Robin Hood's like, who cares? Finally, if you haven't been bored to death by the 5 minutes of previews you just saw, there's a new Leonardo DiCaprio movie coming out called The Inception. And it looks just as strange as any other Leonardo DiCaprio film I've reviewed. It's the Stuboy Movie Review Show. Today we're going to be reviewing Shutter Island, directed by Martin Scorsese. And the biggest trailer of all that you're expecting? Twilight! Yay! I can just see it now, all the preteen girls wanting to see a bare chest. And then you can hear Bella farting on a werewolf. Alright, so you have just survived the first 10 minutes of previews, and now we go on to Iron Balls 2. Iron Balls 2 picks up 6 months after the first Iron Balls, and finds Tony Stark trying to defend himself against the United States government from taking his Iron Ball suit to the US government because he knows, like we know, that they're gonna f it up and nuke Iran or something like John McCain likes to do. Enter Mickey Rourke, the scary badass Russian guy who wants to kick Iron Ballsack's ballsack and teach him a lesson about legacies or something to do with that. It's a smash-filled, fart-fest superhero movie. Having been a while since I've seen the first Iron Balls, I can't really remember much about the first film, but the first Iron Balls was so awesome in the theater when I first saw it. I was like, oh, this is the best movie ever. Iron Man kicks ass. And that's all I remember much about the first film. Iron Balls 2 is your standard action hero movie. It's just the same basic plot, same basic premise. There's nothing really new here that we haven't seen before. It's got good guys, it's got bad guys, typical storyline, nothing unexpected here. Now let's do the pros and cons. Oh, wait a second. Let me drink my Burger King Iron Balls 2 cup. I like the acting and the writing in this movie. Toilet paper works for everything. Mickey Rourke didn't have much of a screen time, but then again this movie wasn't called Whiplash. Scarlett Johansson, I like her, she looks good in tight clothing, and Gwyneth Paltrow looks like she hasn't aged a bit since The Talented Mr. Ripass. The action scenes were pretty good, the film was watchable, it was entertaining, and it was at least watchable and understandable, unlike Transformers 2. The cons, the things I didn't like about this film, there are a few scenes, and they're very few, where the special effects look terrible. And it looks like the people at ILM just let George Lucas have his say in the movie, and George Lucas put his stamp on the movie, and it turned out really shitty. I have to agree with a fellow viewer that was there when I saw this movie, but he said it was kind of slow. But every film has a slow moment. But that does not mean, let me stress that does not mean that I didn't like this movie. I'm starting to talk like Clive Owen because I'm wearing an international hat. I was entertained. It's a sequel. We're not expected to see perfection here. You know, the first movie sets the standard so high. It's like Band of Brothers in the Pacific. And it's good to see Iron Balls back. It's good to see Robert Downey Jr. acting because he's one of my favorite actors, so I liked it. So, overall, I enjoyed it. And I gave it 3.8 stars out of 5. And that's it for this edition of the Stuboy Movie Review Show. See you at the movies. Oh, and for God's sakes, turn your goddamn cell phones off and shut the fuck up during the movie. Thank you.